it's live or not, like I want to specifically address like your concerns and questions. So
Yeah,
going to
I'm
be speaking
trying
to you. I want to make sure that you're, supported in your decision making as a validator.
Oh shit! I need to change the title. Sorry. Uh, um, Atom 2.0 with Sam Hart. Okay. Okay, I hope I still can hear you.
Test.
Yeah. So I was having a few questions because as much as I support Atom 2.0, and no means I'm important. I'm actually very very small validator. Um, and I believe my delegators actually vote themselves, but I try to understand what role Atom is trying to have, because in this white paper, in chapter 3, it states that the Atom is interchain reserve currency, and that would require like maybe understanding what is money in that meaning. And I feel that the writings are assuming that there is some problem with with the current monetary policy. Um, but for it to be a problem, we would have to have proof that this monetary policy failed maybe in the past. So if it didn't fail, why to change it? And yeah, like maybe let's start from this, because there is more questions that I actually have from the people who message me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, so if it's, because how I see Ethereum, for example, changed its tokenomics and become deflationary. My question is, if we turn atoms into scarce asset or money, because it states here it's money, do we not liquidate the small guy on the bottom and make the large holders richer? Because
Okay, so couple
Mhm.
there's a lot there. First of
Yeah.
all, I want to make it crystal clear: the proposal that's up now, the paper that is included in that proposal, does not uh, does not ask for a specific monetary change. So that's not part of Prop 82. However, uh, Prop 82 does talk about the role of Atom in the future and kind of what we're trying to achieve together. And the thesis is that we want Atom to play this reserve role, and um, and we have signals uh, that indicate already that this is a good idea. So there's several crypto collateralized stablecoins. Kujira has one, Agoric has one, etc. They want to use Atom to back these instruments. There's so Mars Protocol wants to use Atom as collateral. So it's really the best option for IBC compatible chains at the moment. It has the deepest liquidity, and so the thesis is, okay, this is great. We want to be able to serve this use case as effectively as possible. So that's kind of the premise that we're starting from. And the there's a couple things that are kind of required to do that. There needs to be a a set of machinery in place to kind of to make sure that Atom is like placed in these different locations. And this is really what the allocator is all about. Is it's like providing some kind of intermediary interface to perform these transactions on behalf of the hub, to make sure that reserve ratios are set properly, that risk is managed properly. Like there's kind of important facets that need to be taken care of in order to deploy Atom in these different contexts. Now, you mentioned before that, like, okay, the monetary policy seems to be working today. Like, why change it? If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? And the description in the paper is, I mean, it's basically saying that the environment that the monetary policy that we have today was designed for is changing, and we have initial evidence for that already, based on some of the things that I was describing in the chat, but I'll repeat them here. So we see that centralized exchanges are top validators today, and we have, we understand that the reason that they are so dominant is because they are offering liquid staking services to their customers. You're able to trade Atom on the platform. You're able to have liquidity on the platform, when you're on Binance or Coinbase, because they stake and then they offer, liquid asset services on within their kind of environment. We see Lido adoption on Ethereum. We see, Stride pools is like I think the third largest pool on Osmosis is ST Atom or ST Osmo. And this is only going to increase. So what happens when liquid staking services take off? And again, like, we're not even talking about Atom 2.0. Like this is just like, if nothing happens, if we just kind of stay in stasis right now and we watch liquid staking services take off, what happens? So if I'm an LP on Osmosis today, like an Atom Osmo LP, well, the Atom that I have in that LP pool is unstaked Atom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this new regime, I could be the exact same LP, but I could be in the liquid staked Atom Osmo pool. And so then I'm getting my staking rewards from Atom, and I'm getting the LP rewards. So the idea there is like, why are you staying in the Atom Osmo LP pool if you could be making more in the liquid staked Atom or liquid staked Atom Osmo LP pool? Does that make sense? So you're going to see a natural kind of transition into the liquid staked version. I just want to pause there to make sure you're following, right?
Yes. Okay. Go on.
So all these use cases, like the reason that all these use cases for unstaked Atom that we have today are going to go through that same phase transition, where you were doing something in DeFi before, but now you're going to do the exact same thing except with liquid staked Atom, because you get a slightly higher return because you're staked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the question is, what is the role of unstaked Atom in the ecosystem? Who is using it? If in every case you can always use the unstaked version. I mean, there are some use cases, maybe DeFi protocols want it, there's
Yeah.
some risk mitigation. Like
Could it be
it's not,
money because you are calling it money? So like that there is the role for unstaked atom.
I mean, I would
Yes.
argue that
Go on.
the role for so, I mean, this is, in order to answer that question, you need to get a little bit philosophical here, but the liquid staked atom is going to be a more useful money in most contexts when you're outside of the hub itself, just because you get the staking return as well, and it can always be redeemed for normal atom. It's 1-for-1 backed. So it's similar to a kind of like central bank. I mean, it's basically like a treasury versus like a US dollar or something like that. I mean, you have the kind of tiers of money. And the version that you're going to want when you're exogenous to the hub is typically going to be one where you're not foregoing the staking rewards.
I have the problem here because you said that liquid staked atoms are money. I would get a little bit philosophical here because the liquid staked atoms are not really expandable nor flexible. They acquire value
What do you mean?
when you stake them. So your liquid staked asset is growing in value. You're more incentivized to actually hold it or provide the liquidity with it than actually use it. It makes the liquid staked atom very scarce, which actually makes it not having the great properties of money. It incentivizes you to hoard the liquid staked the liquid atoms, like the derivative. And there is like big concepts from the history of monetary policies that every time the money was becoming that scarce, was accruing value, the people in the society was going hungry. I'm not saying the atom holders are gonna go hungry, but it
But
doesn't seem that.
again,
Mhm.
I'm talking
So
about
how is the so my
there.
question is, I don't see
No, but
how
I
the
just want to
liquid
clarify.
atom,
Like this is
like
what's happening. This is what's happening without the Atom 2.0 paper. This is just like what's already happening. Like so we're not making an argument about the paper at this point. This is just like
where did it
what
happen? Where did it happen that the derivative version of the token is money? I have not seen it yet.
I mean, this is where the derivative. I mean, we're seeing it in exchanges, and we're seeing it in Lido, and we're seeing it with the new Stride pools that are coming online. I mean, even superfluid staking
You
is a
mean
liquid
on
staked
exchanges, you
asset.
see them as being money, or you see them as the speculative asset? Because that's the very different different utility.
So
The,
you're
the
asking just like
derivative
what?
derivative token on the exchange, like you call this money, like is it really,
So
or is the speculative on the exchange? And I have not experienced seeing the liquid version of the Ethereum also being used as the money. It's rather like maybe used for trading, for exchanging with other
I see. So
speculative assets.
you're asking about the role of Atom, like, so store value, medium exchange, unit of account, right? Like that's kind of what you want to get into.
Well, you just said that the we see that the liquid assets are like the, well, liquid staked version of the assets are money. You made this statement, but it's not a true statement because we don't see them being money.
I mean,
And how can judge something being money where the Ethereum just like merged last month. Like you cannot use this basis. Like you wrote the Atom 2.0 white paper before even like Ethereum merged. So how you can base?
I just we're not even talking about the paper right now. We're only I want to get into the paper, but like I
Right.
need to get on the same page with you about what is happening today. And like, I think you would agree that Lido exists, sees adoption on Ethereum, Stride exists, Quicksilver is about to launch, Lido in the Cosmos ecosystem is about to launch. So like those we're on the same page that's going to happen, correct? And I think
Yes.
you would like it's pretty clear that Stride, Lido, Quicksilver, etc., P-Stake, they're going to also offer incentives, do liquidity mining on their liquid staked asset pairs. We're on the same page there, right? So again, this is not a 2.0 thing. This is just like what is going to happen, given today's trajectory without any paper, right? So
Yeah.
So if those things happen, that will create they'll basically diminish the demand for unstaked Atom, because it's going to draw Atom into the staking system, because now you can get staking rewards on your now you can get liquidity mining rewards on your staked Atom. So you get to stack your rewards. So now what's going to happen is the stake ratio is going to increase. And what I'm saying is we actually already have seen the stake ratio increase. The stake ratio is the highest it's ever been, and it's partially because of things like Stride and the it kind of in anticipation of all these things that are about to happen. So yeah, so like what happens when the stake ratio increases? Today's staking monetary policy system. So what happens is the amount of rewards, staking rewards, go down because we have this tooth targeting thing. And there's less need for the staking system to incentivize people to stake. So the rewards go down just naturally. So we're basically going to hit the minimum of the staking returns, which is 7% today. Not only that, but the number of stakers, the amount of staked Atom is going to increase. So you're spreading it over a larger number of people. So the staking rewards are just going to go down. Again, not a 2.0 thing. This is just like left alone. This is what's going to happen. So that's what's described in the papers. Like, hey, guys, like this is happening. We just want everybody to know that this is happening right now. And we're aware of this, and we consider this a really serious thing. Like we want to talk to validators, we want to talk to the community, and have this conversation about people's returns going down.
Let me ask you, because so you also assume, because in the liquidity pools the people will have rewards, right? That's how they will make, but in order to so what's your assumption that with liquid staking, do you think how high the staking ratio will be? 90%, 80%, 70?
I mean, I anticipate it very long term it will be extremely high. 90%.
So if you have up 90%, okay, you told me about the earning in the liquidity pools. It doesn't make sense. because in order to provide liquidity, you need the liquid atoms as well.
You mean
To provide the liquidity on, for example, pool that has atoms and the derivative
unstaked atoms?
Yes, so you need
I'm
them.
saying that the entire liquidity profile is going to shift into these liquid staking.
So you don't think the
pools.
pools will be made composed of atoms, right?
I think that there will be a select number of pools that are unstaked atoms. That's actually where a lot of the unstaked atom will be.
But that's based on
However,
nothing, because the most popular pools, and it includes the version of Ethereum, is the pools that have the real atom and liquid staked atom, no other pools. So the assumption that we are going to shift from the atom is purely based of the imaginations of people writing the white paper that it will happen, yet it's not based.
I mean, even if every
real world
single atom, let's just make up a scenario here where every single atom that is goes into liquid staking goes into this liquid staked atom to atom pool.
Mhm.
What happens then? Well, we're still increasing the amount of demand for staked atom, and it's going to increase the stake ratio. And the only thing that's required to
We don't know if it will
increase
increase the stake ratio. As of now, it's like at over 60%. Yeah, like if everything would go
right.
to this pool, it could even go lower. Like I don't actually see it going at over 90%.
It's important to understand how the staking system works today, which is that if the stake ratio is above 66%, just marginally above, what happens is the staking rate every so often will decrease in order to try to bring the amount of staked assets down, because the normal system assumes that you want some liquid atom available for the ecosystem. And so even if it's just marginally above 66%, you're slowly going to drift to the minimum amount of issuance that is allowed in the current system. Okay, so we're going to end up at 7% given the current settings.
Yeah, but like I don't see how this is relevant, that if there is the higher staking ratio, the rewards are smaller, because like with liquid staking, we argue that the issuance of new tokens is not needed.
Right. I mean, I want to get there, but I feel like we still haven't like totally landed on just what's
I know
happening
exactly
today.
like how works the current like staking model, right? Like I've been when the staking rewards were smaller, because the staking ratio was higher. You know, we were like at around 70% at many times. Now we're below that. But it simply it didn't, and also like it did not seem that as we were hitting 70%, the unbonding was happening as we were staying there for months. It rather was simply driven by the demand of the bull market. That was the conclusion I was taken from that.
I mean, this is kind of before DeFi existed in Cosmos, before, potentially before IBC existed.
Early 2022, I'm pretty sure I've seen smaller rewards on Atom. The DeFi in Cosmos already existed, and we just still were in Cosmos bull market, and we were deep into Cosmos DeFi. My rewards on Atom were like around 13%, They
Right.
they went
Okay.
up to
So in
20%
2022,
after the crash we had in the Cosmos ecosystem, and the price went from like $40 to $10, which
yeah,
this staking ratio appears to be correlated to the demand on the Atom and not on the demand on the DeFi protocols.
there's what's the difference? I mean, the time period that you're suggesting there, like 2020, 2021, 2022, is what was happening is people were buying Atom on Coinbase or Binance, moving it over to Osmosis, and either swapping it into Osmo or putting it into the like Atom Osmo pool or whatever it is. So that the demand for Atom is a direct result of the kind of emergence of Cosmos DeFi.
Well, I see what you're trying to say, that the DeFi makes Hub less secure because we are chasing the yield. But as of now, it's still secure, and there's no proof that the liquid staking will drive it to substantially higher, because people, if there will be offered better yield in the pools of Atom, staked Atom, it should not have effect on the staked ratio, or at least we are unable to know this because we cannot see this in other networks. In fact, what is the staked ratio on Ethereum is like way below 50%, and people don't even seem to be interested in staking. So based on that,
I mean, you're already like Maker is shifting all of their ETH reserves into liquid staked ETH
yes,
because they
because it
get,
makes more sense. Like
and that
that's
same thing is going to happen with every single DeFi protocol on Ethereum.
yeah. But the fact that we have this shift, and now in relation to the paper, why there is need to essentially drive the issuance of new tokens to below 1% a year, because this
Well,
part
I
I don't
want to get
really
I want to get
understand.
to that.
Yeah,
Do you agree with me that there will be that the staking ratio is going to increase, just like given no action?
maybe. I
Maybe.
don't know,
Well, that
because
premise is like essential to have the conversation that that you want to have here.
because no, because I might agree, it's quite likely, we don't know, and we cannot really assume in the paper, because you wrote in the paper it will happen, but we don't
I
have this
I
information.
do
And
think it's
this,
going to happen, and I do think we have initial evidence to suggest this.
so in your white paper, like, you state like things are true, but now you're saying you think it will happen, and I
I
hope it will happen,
I've
because that
pointed
makes.
to
Mhm.
I've
I
pointed
just
to
don't
a
see
number
it
of things that
going.
indicate this. The bonded ratios is extremely high. We're seeing Stride doing liquidity mining on liquid staked Atom pools. Um, the new stable coins that are in the ecosystem, Gajira, IST, they want to use liquid staked Atom. Like that's
Mhm.
going to be their collateral for the pool. So like this is going to draw Atom into the staking system and into these protocols. Like it needs to come from somewhere.
So okay, let's go to the same page. Let's assume everyone will move to the staked Atom, and people will not be likely put using doing the pools that is Atom, staked Atom, but they will be choosing maybe staked Atom Osmosis. So the staked Atom will be actually become actually this native token that is being used in DeFi, and with that we get the staking ratio of 97%. Like, if even that far. But with that, we could try to discuss on what is money, because
Mhm.
if this will happen, the staked atoms will not be expandable. They will be, in fact, just like growing in value. Is it not more rewarding for the people who are largely exposed to the atoms, and rather like eliminating the small users from
Mhm.
participation of the in the ecosystem? Like, because it's again, if it claims to be money, could we base the theory that the money cannot expand, that the money can actually accrue value, which makes this staked atom the great holding asset, but not really the great asset to be used anywhere else, uh, besides using them in the pool? And still it's questionable. And why is it questionable? Because if you assume that the atom grow in value with in, introduced Ponzinomics, so if you hold staked atom, we assume atom will grow in value because we have interchain security. You are,
So
if you use staked atom in liquidity pool with the token that is more volatile, I don't necessarily see that, because if people will be if atom will be accruing so much value while other tokens will not be, people simply will stop doing that. Which could be, that could be another theory, and it's also my Fugazi thoughts, similar way as the just theory that is in the white paper. I just don't
so
know.
yeah, there's a lot there. The There's a lot of different types of money, first of all, and um, I think what you're saying is that an expansionary money, a you know, which is equivalent to like a money that has some degree of deflationary pressure, is is valuable as a medium of exchange.
Mhm.
Is that a good characterization?
Yes.
Um, and I agree with that to some extent. I I don't think personally that Atom is going to be used predominantly as a medium of exchange.
Hmm.
I don't see a lot of that today, and I don't really see that use case being. Yeah, I, I'm not sure how that would reach, uh, where the product market fit is there.
Hmm.
The best argument that I've heard is that Atom would be like a universal fee token for other Cosmos blockchains, and I I've seen no evidence whatsoever that Atom is kind of preferred in that use case. If anything, stablecoins are kind of preferred for entities like relayers.
Hmm.
That's not to say it's not possible, but I have yet to see any demand um, for Atom as a medium of exchange. However, we do see demand for Atom as a store of value, and that's why all these protocols want Atom incorporated into, as collateral. So the paper is kind of leaning into that use case.
Hmm. Um, if that would, like, if atom would be considered as the store of value, I then I see that, right? Because that's but for me it's like, I don't know if like atom figure out itself, and I don't know if such drastic change is needed right away, because as you said, if the
Right, but
fees
the
end up.
paper is not. I mean, the paper is trying to set this up like, hey, this is something we probably want to do, but it's also like I've talked to 50 different validators at this point, like, and you know uh, we heard people expressing similar concerns, like, hey, we don't think that we're ready to make this change, and that's why we basically set up the problem in the paper. We're like, hey, we're going to want to have this conversation later because it's important. It impacts the validator business model. It impacts the kind of value transfer between delegators and validators. It might affect like commission rates. There's like a lot that's going to happen here, and we're going to need to have a conversation about this that's like to get the community on the same page. But we're going to wait on that conversation, and we're going to wait until we understand the revenue side better. And so we're going to set up the revenue side in this paper. That's what's happening.
I just want to go back, like, because if it really happens that the fees are paid in Atom, then it becomes the problem, because those who will pay most of the fees are the people who build, the people on the bottom who do a lot of transactions, while not the big holders that rather
Sorry,
sit
which fees are we talking about here?
if the fees would end up to be paid in Atom, right? So like if
interchain relay fees and such, or I just want to understand which fees we're
yes,
talking about.
like for transferring, right? If you or the fees
on other
always,
blockchains.
I guess, yeah. But you assume that the USDC will be the main currency that's being
Or other
used.
stable coins.
Yeah.
I mean, when I talk to relayers, I've spoken to several. Like right now, they hold 50 different currencies for anything that they're relaying, right? And that's like okay, but it like the messaging that I'm getting is like, this doesn't really scale well. It would be nice to be able to like project our cost basis and just like, we denominate things in fiat, our business is in fiat. Like we want to be able to eliminate like that price risk from our like relay business effectively.
I wonder if this is valid point, but even on the Cosmos chain, if we get to the point that we have really a lot of transactions on the Cosmos chain, maybe millions daily
on the hub
on the hub. Yes, sorry, on the hub.
That's just not going to happen, because like the hub, because we did this whole Prop 69 thing, people said, hey, we want the hub to be super minimal. We do not want functionality on the hub. We want to push functionality elsewhere. So there will be transfers, but like we're not going to get the volumes required to generate massive transaction fee revenue on the hub. It's just not going to happen.
I think it would be very helpful, and if someone listen that actually understands the money and understand monetary policy, I would really appreciate those people to be able to help me with that and changing the monetary policy of Atom. I see the points with the liquid staked assets. I'm still being a little bit confused, but I want to get to the paper, if you don't mind, because I get fully what you mean with the staked assets, but why is it so difficult to remove this from the paper, the issuance of atoms, which is theory that it will work?
But we did remove it. Yes, there's language in there that's like, hey, everybody, we're going to want to have this conversation later, but it's not in there. Like we took out the diagrams, we took it out. Like,
but it's still like I'm still reading that, and it's still there. Like it's not the diagram, but it's still about Atom being the reserve currency and proposed change of the monetary system. It proposes, without the diagram,
it says that the staking system was designed with this purpose. It's just like we're trying to give some backstory to like where we were coming from originally with the staking system, so that people understand, and trying to set up that like, hey, that system and like the kind of assumptions that went into it, like are likely not going to hold in the future. So like we're gonna need to figure something out here.
Because it's like it is proposing the issuance of 300,000 atoms after change. But it's also, the number was probably taken, hey, it's quite cool because that's the like speed of light, and let's just put it there. But we don't even know if that would be the right issuance, right? So why even propose anything instead of proposing, hey, we will be considering adjusting the monetary system of atom based on the performance of the interchain security and adoption of liquid staking. We're just removing the.
Maybe, I mean,
When I spoke to some people, and these people say that they requested few times to remove that, and it's been declined. I spoke with someone, and
we
someone
removed the entire. Look at what we removed. Like it is everything that that it's the entire issuance system. The 300,000 number there is like, I mean, it's a little bit of a, okay, if we're going to have this conversation later, like we need some, these things need like mimetic power, and so like that's a way to just kind of create a, or like induce a Schelling point potentially if we're kind of on the same page at this later date.
Mhm.
If not, like I was kind of concerned that I don't want a discretionary monetary policy in the future. Like I want the, like right now we have something entirely programmatic, which is good. And in the future we want something entirely programmatic. Like we want something even more programmatic, like completely deterministic. Like we want to know the policy like 1,000 years in the future. And in order to do that, you just need to like create some kind of social construct to get yourself there. Do we want to answer some of these questions here?
If they have questions, but like because you said that you want to program the model to like years ahead, but I don't know if this is the right way, because the world is changing, the needs
Yeah,
of the world are
and
changing. So
I agree. Like I want to have that conversation with like, I want to have that conversation in a year or 2 years with like plots in front of me and reports and like on-chain analytics, and like, I want to have this YouTube discussion like when we have all the information. And validators like gave that feedback, and we responded by removing that entire thing from the paper.
it you can stand. It looks funny when you crawl down. I actually will have to go in probably like 10 minutes, but
Okay.
Because I think the concern is that paper is still proposed, but you telling me, hey, it doesn't matter because we will have to vote on this in the future and it can be declined. So you telling me that there cannot be the argument in the future that is placed, hey, this was the proposed in the white paper of Atom 2.0, so we are going to push it. Or is there a possibility like this?
Let me give you like the state of affairs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there seems to be broad support for interchain security, as far as I understand. It's a little bit unclear how that even came about. So Jay had this Future of Cosmos GitHub thing that he did a while ago. Sunny was kind of in support of interchain security a while ago. Like it was a little bit like ambiguous how that decision was even made, but like there seems to be some degree of support for this. And it was kind of it was kind of reinforced by the Prop 69. We don't want CosmWasm on the hubs. Like, okay, well, interchain security is kind of another option. The liquid staking work, I mean, the teams that are building the ecosystem, some of the work that Occlusion's done, like that seems to, that's in flight. But once interchain security is delivered, and some of these liquid staking providers come online, the hub has there's no mandate. There's nothing. The core teams like don't have anything to work on anymore. So, and like the hub doesn't have a like an explicit purpose. So they're kind of, and that's kind of where the paper picks up, is like, okay, well, we have this thing that, the hub is, we've created this platform where we can secure different applications. We can now export Atom across chain more efficiently. Like we have a base to work from. What do you want us to work on now? Like, so that's where, we need to build a business on top of this. And so these two components, the scheduler and the allocator, are kind of like, okay, we want to deploy Atom more effectively, and we want to create a business around IBC adoption and interchain economic adoption. And then we want to create this charter system that allows the community to like actually have some kind of shared textual understanding of like the purpose and where we're going together, because that just doesn't exist today. And so like that's kind of where I want to focus some of this attention around, and dialogue around the specifics of the business model, how it interacts with issuance. Like right, without the paper, we actually don't even have a proper forum for funneling those concerns into a space that has like any degree of legitimacy.
I think people like the idea and like the possibility that hub could fund itself. And I think it would get much more support if the point 3 would be simply removed. I think people would be less confused. And
which point is that?
The chapter 3 of the thing we discussed before, the interchain reserve currency, because people still don't have trust that it's really just it's something that will be voted upon later. For me, for example, I don't see why we have.
It absolutely has to be voted on later. Like this is not an upgrade proposal. It is a like high level.
But we kind of agree upon that, because if you put it in this proposal, we kind of agree that we accept it, right? But people could be like me, hey, I like the idea of Atom 2.0. I'm quite confused about the proposed tokenomics, but if I vote yes, I kind of show the approval also for chapter 3 here.
I mean, what I'm telling you is that I don't even know the answer. Like we're going to start a public conversation if this is passed, and we're going to try to. I mean, I don't know. Like none of us are trying to damage Atom. Like we're obviously trying to work in the best interest of Atom, and like we're going to try to use, the most accurate and information available to inform that decision making. Like this isn't just this isn't just like a power grab.
I understand. I wish I could have more time. We maybe could schedule another chat when we can. I just wonder if there was like different models considered, because for example, I see no difference that maybe community could vote every year or two, let's issue additional 5 million atoms to sell to this and this investors, and then we get to the treasury USDC and we can sustain funding the hub, right? Was there like anything else? Because I see no problem that community
The
could vote and adjust the issuance of the token depending on the need. With that, community could adjust also the inflation to the stakers, because I think people still want to get this. So was there other propositions considered?
yeah, there was, I mean, I spent there's this whole like alternative research path that we went around debt issuance. And I mean, super fascinating. I think there's like a lot to dig into there. It gets very complex very quickly. And one of the things that we ultimately kind of came to realize is that, okay, if the main product here is Atom, reserve Atom, the best thing that we can do is create the strongest assurance possible around the supply schedule of Atom. That's what's going to to make Atom the most desirable reserve. So we kind of like went through many conversations, went through this iterative process of just kind of simplification down to what effectively ended up being kind of a security analysis around liquid staking, and a process of building confidence around a kind of constant issuance model. However, that has now been tabled. Not something that if this proposal passes, I do not see this as a community support of an issuance change. That's not how I perceive this, because I was given the feedback from many people that it is not the right time to have that conversation.
Okay, so let's say the first interchain security goes live. We get adoption of the liquid staking, and what if in case validators and the stakers will not see actually the value being driven from the consumer chains, then it's possible that to drive the conclusion, hey, we are actually not gonna change the monetary policy, because that would come at the harm of the stakers, right? So you are
Absolutely.
sure that if this will not, because my friend just was texting me, and he said he doesn't understand. Let me say, his
So
words.
I want to be very clear about, like, there's a hard constraint. Like, two-thirds of Atom that is staked needs to do so profitably. That is like an absolutely hard constraint on the system. Otherwise, it is insecure. So that is like the mental framework that we should all be bringing to this. And so, yeah, I mean, we want to look at interchain security revenues, and we want to build confidence that there's a real business model there, and that's what we want to work on as core teams in the next couple of years.
So if my friend said, why do we need to agree on this weird inflation schedule before ICS is up and running? Just let it happen.
We're not
with
agreeing
current
on this
economy. So you would answer to this person, we're not changing it. We are going to see interchain security. If interchain security brings the good revenue stream, then we are going to consider and propose to community once again the change of maybe adjusting the tokenomics, which doesn't have to be in the model that is proposed. It might be different, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Sam, I wish we could talk more, but I hear my mother-in-law came. It's my wife's birthday, so I need to make dinner quickly.
Happy birthday.
So sorry, thank you. I will pass that to her.
Yeah.
But maybe we can get the questions of the community. Maybe we can get the questions on Telegram, and maybe we can compose it in like a video in tomorrow or in 2 days, because Telegram sometimes is messy. So the concerns of people, and maybe we can make the video, so the video will be out with you addressing the concerns, if that could work for people. So Sam, thank you. I assume you are in Europe, maybe.
Yeah, I'm in Berlin. Also,
So
if there are any validators in the chat and you want to like have a one-on-one to just like go through a couple of things, like get in touch with me. And I'm spending my time right now making sure that validators like have the information that they feel like they need in order to make a good decision here.
yeah, so like that's how I got in touch with Sam. I messaged on Telegram, and he agreed to speak. So this is quite unprepared, but we might do it again, and I hope hopefully we can do it in the future. Thank you, Sam, and enjoy the rest of your day in Berlin.
Yeah, thank you.